Alyssha.
A former bank executive is arrested in Larchmont.
Westchester Joint Waterworks is ordered to submit plans for a filtration plant.
An open meeting is scheduled to discuss the Kemper Memorial.
Could Larchmont commuter buses be eliminated?
And a local podiatrist is collecting shoes for a worthy cause. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. An ex-bank executive was arrested in Larchmont for alleged participation in a mutual fund trading scheme. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has more.
Larchmont resident Paul Flynn has been charged with participating in an alleged mutual fund trading scheme by New York Attorney General Eliot Spitzer. According to the allegations, Flynn, who until this past December was a managing director in CIBC's U.S. arbitrage business, provided financing for 2 hedge funds that engaged in illegal trading activities, specifically late trading and deceptive market timing. Flynn faces 5 felony charges, including 2 for grand larceny, which could result in up to 25 years in state prison. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, which was conducting a joint investigation into the matter, also filed fraud charges against Flynn, claiming he substantially assisted his hedge fund clients and knew they were making improper trades. Flynn was arrested near his Larchmont home on February 3rd. After being arraigned in criminal court in Manhattan, he was released on $750,000 bail and on condition that he surrender his passport and remain in New York State. He is due back in court on March 10th. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
The hearings in Mamaroneck involving 3 police officers of the village's police department continue. In a hearing that deals with the case of Officer John DiCiaccio, who's currently suspended for insubordination and other charges, testimony from another police officer was heard. Detective Sergeant Robert Holland testified that DiCiaccio entered his office on July 3rd and threw his gun belt on the floor. This gun belt contained a loaded weapon and a can of pepper spray. Carlin said at the hearing, according to the Times, quote, "My concern at the time was that there was a live round in an automatic weapon that has forcibly been thrown to the ground." End of quote. According to Holland, besides him and DiCiaccio, 3 other persons were in the room when DiCiaccio threw the gun belt on the floor. DiCiaccio was supposed to meet that day with the chief of police, Edward Flynn. Flynn had ordered DiCiaccio to hand over his gun belt to Detective Sergeant Holland before seeing the chief. According to the attorney of DiCiaccio, this was done to humiliate DiCiaccio, as it was not standard practice in the police department. The hearings in Mamaroneck will continue.
Just a few weeks ago, we reported that plans were moving ahead for a Commerce Bank at the current site of Crab Shanty on Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck. Many Mamaroneck residents are opposed to the plan because they fear that long business hours beginning at 7:30 a.m. would bring an increased and incessant flow of traffic to an already busy area and pose a safety hazard to students who attend the nearby Rhinebeck Middle and High School. Others worry that the bank's modern look would be an eyesore. Current proposals indicate the bank will have 4 drive-through manned teller stations and 16-foot tall lights around the bank that would remain lit all night. Since our initial report, Commerce Bank officials have responded to residents' concerns. Most of the responses came from Paul Noto, the attorney for Commerce Bank. He's quoted in the Times saying, "The lights will be directed down and are contained on site and should not affect off-site residents at all." He also stated that the site will be heavily landscaped in the back and that bank officials will add a layer of buffering to the back of the site, which means that more trees, grass, and shrubs would separate the building from the residences. In addition, the purpose of having 4 drive-through teller stations is so that cars will move quickly and minimize any idling.
In a 5-year-long legal battle between Westchester Joint Waterworks and New York State Health Department, a state Supreme Court justice has now ordered the waterworks to build a $13 million filtration plant at Rye Lake. According to the state, Westchester Joint Waterworks agreed in 1996 to build such a filtration plant. The Waterworks has a different view of its statement. It says that it agreed to a filtration plant in case its water quality would not meet the required standards. The attorney for the Waterworks, Philip Gilton, told the Journal News, quote, "Federal law requires filtration in case that the current water supply doesn't meet the standards. This water supply has met all the standards since August 1996." End of quote. The representative for the state Assistant Attorney General, Rachel Safran, said the Health Department is monitoring the water quality closely. So far, no pollutant has been found, but the filtration is a protective measure to prevent this from becoming an issue. The State Health Department is concerned that the water in Rye Lake can become contaminated by runoff from Westchester County Airport and Interstate 684 and Route 120. Westchester Joint Waterworks has been ordered by the state Supreme Court Justice to submit the plans for the construction of a filtration plant within 13 months. The construction of a plant has to begin within 2 years. In case Westchester Joint Waterworks is not compliant, it could face a penalty of $13,750 per day.
With the latest on an upcoming meeting about Kemper Memorial, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch.
This is the Kemper Memorial, stone etched with the names of young men from our area who died in World War II. The memorial and the land it's on have become a battleground of sorts ever since the Mamaroneck School Board announced plans to alter the park to make room for a new soccer field and a bigger football field, plans the Kemper family and others in the community strongly object to. So what's next on this controversy? An open forum. The Mamaroneck Board of Education has announced a public meeting for Tuesday, February 24th at 7 p.m. in the Post Road Auditorium of the high school. The board will answer your questions about its plans for the park and listen to your comments. The board wants to redesign and move the park, along with the monument, about 40 yards from its present location. This to make room for a new sports field, as well as make improvements to nearby Memorial Field. The Kemper family, however, objects to any move of the monument and the parkland. It was Adolph and Helen Kemper who donated the land and its monument to honor their son Richard and other residents killed in World War II. Family members believe there are other options, but so far the Board of Education has not found another approach that meets their needs. In recent months, there have been a number of formal and informal meetings at which members of the school board discuss their plans with particular organizations or with smaller groups of residents. At the board's regular January meeting, a number of citizens aired their views, some in support, others in opposition. The February 24th meeting will be the first open forum devoted entirely to Kemper Park and open to all residents of the Mamaroneck School District. The meeting will be videotaped by LMC-TV. Watch for replays or call LMC-TV. Their number, 381-2002. On location for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
The Westchester County unemployment rate fell in December from 3.9% to 3.8%. This was much lower than the state unemployment rate, which came in at 6.1% and was an improvement from the 6.4% recorded for December 2002. The unemployment rate in New York City was even higher at 7.8%. The Westchester County rate of 3.8% means that any person who's seriously looking for work should be finding a job in the county.
Well, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray has the details around a recent story suggesting that some Larchmont commuter buses could be eliminated.
The 2 shuttle buses to and from the Larchmont train station may be discontinued because of Westchester County's budget problems. Our county legislator, George Latimer, and County Executive Andy Spano have already gone to Albany to lobby the legislature for more transportation support. Bus routes number 70 and 71 help to ease parking problems at the station, and they reduce the traffic in the area. It will take several months for Albany to decide what monies they will allocate for transportation. Westchester County Commissioner of Transportation, Harry Stanton, claims we get shortchanged in comparison to other counties. The state aid for Nassau is $1.11, for Suffolk it's $1.78, and for Albany $2. If the state does not send a fair share of transportation aid, bus fares will rise. The taxes from local areas will double, and old buses will continue to be used. The fare is now $1.70. However, if the county gets an increase in taxes, that may change everything. We will keep you up to date. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
The Tristram Kelly custody case is back in the news as the mother is set free from prison. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has the details.
The case involving 3-year-old Larchmont resident Tristram Kelly continues following the recent acquittal of his mother, Jing Kelly, on felony abduction charges. Jing Kelly fled to China with the child, where they lived for 18 months before she was arrested upon arriving in Vancouver. Shortly before her arrest, Tristram's father, Craig Kelly, who was living in Larchmont with his sister Gail Hyler and her family, had passed away. Mrs. Hyler was awarded custody of Tristram while Kelly remained in the Westchester County Jail. Kelly spent a year in prison pending her trial, in which she beat the most serious charge of custodial interference and was convicted only of a misdemeanor. Now that she's free, she has asked the courts to award her custody of her son and, in the interim, immediate visitation. The Hylers are opposed and hope to raise Tristram themselves right here in Larchmont. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
A proposal has been made to build 32 seasonal residences at the site of the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club by the end of next year. The homes would be available to members only and would include 1- and 2-bedroom units. The apartments would be built at both the clubhouse site at 555 South Barry Avenue and in place of some dilapidated cabanas currently on the property. Leases would be for 6 months at a time and designed for singles or couples with no children. The units would be intended for those who would want a part-time New York residence during the summer months. Plans are underway for an environmental review. We'll keep you updated.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Caitlin Fahey has the story behind the Homox Middle School dance troupe. Caitlin?
Ideas for new school programs can come from the most unusual situations. After a meeting with a quiet student, Donna Kitt, the Homox Middle School psychologist, suggested the idea of a school dance troupe like the one she had coached previously at another job. The students soon came back to Dr. Kitt with a list of 30 students who would be interested in joining a dance troupe. From that list, the Homox Dance Troupe was formed with Dr. Kitt as the first coach. The troupe now consists of 30 girls and 8 boys. The troupe is being supported this year by a grant from the Mamaroneck Schools Foundation, a nonprofit community organization that offers the schools within the Mamaroneck Union Free School District with funds for additional materials and programs that are not in the district's budget. Some of the students have had ballet or jazz training, while others have had no previous dance experience. We caught up with Dr. Kitt at rehearsal.
We're rehearsing for our next performance, which is scheduled for February 27th at 7 in the evening here at Homox Middle School. It's for Latino Night. We hope that you can come out and join us as we showcase this performance that will have a lot of acrobatic moves, a lot of stimulating and sensual movement to Latino music. We hope that you come and enjoy.
For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Caitlin Fahey.
And with her weekly news about real estate, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. A short review today on co-ops. Many co-ops do not allow pets. If you have a pet, tell your professional realtor right away. All boards reserve the right to say yay or nay about having pets. Now, value of your house versus the cost. They're not the same thing. If you want to improve your house for sale, there may be a few things you can do. Number one, get different estimates from 3 contractors or more and check them out. Number two, remember in determining value, location is very important. What is the commuting distance? What about the school's excellence? What's the proximity to shopping and cultural activities? Your improvements should reduce stress or increase comfort. Increase space in the home if possible. Increase storage space. Number 4, make sure you have the correct permits if they are necessary. Use licensed contractors for plumbing and electrical work. Those are just a few simple things you can do to improve the value of your home, which will probably also improve and raise the cost.
The Larchmont couple, Alice and Joseph Vandernoot, have been married for 72 years. They are the longest married Catholic couple in New York State, according to the Archdiocese of New York. They were recognized by Cardinal Egan at the Sunday service on February 8th at St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City. Some of our viewers will remember that Joseph Vandernoot was elected to the Mamaroneck Town Board in the 1970s and served 2 terms as town supervisors. Our congratulations go out to the Vandernoots.
My goodness, that is quite a long
72 years.
I know. When did they get married? My goodness. And they must be great-great-grandparents by now.
They are.
Well, a local podiatrist is collecting shoes for the needy. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has the details on how you can help.
For the past 3 years, I've been collecting shoes in my office, and we collect shoes almost all year long, from September through June. And I distribute shoes to the homeless, to crisis centers, to churches. Right here in Mamaroneck at the Methodist Church, we send shoes down to the homeless shelters in Manhattan once a month.
That's the Mamaroneck United Methodist Church on
right.
Boston Post Road?
Right. And
Okay.
One of the main places we send shoes to are to Yonkers, this Women's Crisis Center. There are children there who are homeless. The United Way comes and gets lots of shoes for me at least once or twice a year. A whole truck pulls up and we give them lots of shoes.
Wow.
So people have been donating shoes all year long. Either they clean out their closets, the holidays roll around, Christmas time. I had one young girl who made her bat mitzvah project collecting shoes, and we got lots of nice shoes that year. People will go to stores like Payless, where they can buy 1 pair of shoes and get one pair free. And they've been very, very generous to bring in that free pair of shoes. So
now let me ask you, do the shoes, do they have to be brand new? They can be used, but you just don't want holes in them? Or
well,
what kind of condition do the shoes need to be in? Gently worn, okay.
Usable shoes. Will I take new shoes? Absolutely.
Sure.
There's nothing nicer than giving someone a brand new pair of shoes. But most people have, if you check your closets, there are shoes there that are either outdated or outmoded or you forgot you had.
Or a couple times.
Right, and they're still in great shape.
Sure.
And there are so many people who can utilize what you no longer need or even want, for that matter.
Right.
So what might not be usable to you, there's someone out there, man, woman, child, who can use what you have.
And even a pair of high heels also. You were telling me a story earlier about a pair of red pumps, and someone asked how could a homeless person use that? But well, you told me why.
There are these shelters where women are either displaced or through divorce or whatever reason, and sometimes they are going out on a job interview.
Sure.
And they may not just have a nice pair of shoes to wear to just feel good for that day. They may not be practical. There may be a high heel pump, a shoe that I might not want to see my patients wearing.
Right.
But you know, for a day to feel good and to be able to put something nice on, it's important.
Now also you have a new project that you just got involved with, but with Burke Rehabilitation. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that collection?
I called Burke Rehab because a lawyer who does product liability testing for products had a whole box of shoes, but they were all left sneakers, and they were brand new. And he read about the shoe drive, and he mailed me this whole box of left sneakers, and I had no idea what to do with them. So I called Burke Rehab. They then told me to call Biotechnologies, who make prosthetic limbs. They gave me a contact in Connecticut, a young lady who has had an amputation. And through her, we've started collecting prosthetic limbs. How do we get those? Usually someone has passed away, and what's left behind is that limb that they've been using. And through this contact, I'm forgetting her first name, but she has a connection with FedEx. And we can now ship prostheses, leg braces, and yes, just left shoes or just right shoes down to Haiti, where there are lots of people who have sustained amputations or injuries through either violent crime or infection, injury, disease. So it's a great project also.
So they can also drop those off at your office, correct?
Absolutely. I'm there almost
What are the hours?
Well,
yes.
It's 9 to 5.
Okay.
Monday through Friday, Wednesday half a day.
Okay.
But if the doors are closed, just leave
them outside?
Leave them outside the door, and it's
Okay.
a very safe part of town, and it's
Sure.
people know that I collect shoes.
Okay.
And
And what's your phone number?
they can call me for information at 835-6604. And my office is at 910 East Boston Post Road, which is about 2 blocks north of Applebee's on the same side of the,
In
of
Mamaroneck.
the road, in Mamaroneck. So it's very local. And you know, I'm not greedy, or I'm not stingy, but I'll take whatever you have. If you have a pair of shoes or something that just send them over, and I'll find someone who can use them.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They will try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. And whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. And we get things started around 7 p.m., and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Don't forget to help Dr. Charles Moretti get to his $15,000 shoe collection. That would be quite an accomplishment.
That's what he's doing?
Yeah, I hope I got that.
Taxes, 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 have we got news for you?
A new village clerk treasurer for Mamaroneck.
Family University comes to Mamaroneck.
Larchmont bus riders keep rolling.
Computers go underground on sewer lines.
And deals on wheels for the Mamaroneck Village Police Department. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven.
And I'm Maura Carlin.
And our top story, in its effort to make ends meet at the current budgetary level, the County Executive Andrew Spano and the Board of Legislators were able to obtain a 0.5 increase in the sales tax for the county. This is only half of what they had asked the state legislature to give them. Therefore, county residents are going to be stuck with the 18.8% property tax increase that the Westchester County Board of Legislators enacted in February. County officials had been working hard to receive the full 1% increase in the sales tax from the state, but their lobbying efforts did not succeed. However, the state authorized the county to share some of the proceeds of the sales tax increase with municipalities and school districts, and it also allowed the county to increase the mortgage tax and the auto use tax by 25%.
The good news for the town of Mamaroneck residents, if you can call it good news, is that the 18.8% increase in county property tax translates into only an 11.7% increase because of equalization rates. Put simply, last year town residents got hit harder than others. This year's they get a break. But add to the 11.7% hike and 8.5% rise in town taxes, and you're facing an over 20% increase in your property tax bill. And the tax bill for schools, which accounts for half of the property tax, hasn't even been set yet. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted as tax info becomes available.
The hearings in Mamaroneck in the case of police officer DiCiaccio continue. In the last session, 3 police officers took the witness stand. One of the issues that was discussed at the hearing was whether DiCiaccio wanted to attend the meeting with the police chief with an attorney. DiCiaccio's lawyer said that the meeting with Chief Flynn had been scheduled on very short notice, and this did not allow DiCiaccio to have an attorney present. One of the officers who testified stated that DiCiaccio had 27 hours between the time that he was notified of the meeting and the actual meeting. According to this officer, the lawyer that usually represented the PBA was not able to attend DiCiaccio's meeting with the police chief. The law firm offered another attorney, but according to the testimony of this police officer, DiCiaccio did not want this attorney to accompany him. Another police officer said that DiCiaccio told him that he was not going to the meeting with Police Chief Flynn with a lawyer, but that he would go in there on his own. Another officer who testified during the hearing is one of the department's firearms training officers. According to this officer, the weapon that was in DiCiaccio's gun belt at the time that he allegedly threw it at the feet of the detective sergeant in July has 3 safety devices that should prevent any accidental discharge. And according to this testimony, it is also designed that it can only fire when the trigger is pulled. The police officer who testified about the weapon said that by throwing the weapon on the floor, the weapon could have been damaged and could potentially have become unreliable and dangerous when it had to be used. During this hearing, DiCiaccio's lawyer was overruled on 96 objections during a 6-hour hearing period.
Plans for a 7-floor, 186-unit apartment complex proposed for the town of Mamaroneck have entered the final stages of approval, even though it is opposed by some residents. The town board has accepted the draft environmental impact statement for a proposed mixed-use development on Madison Avenue in the town of Mamaroneck, measuring 2.94 acres. The plans include a redevelopment of 3 single-family homes, a warehouse, a restaurant, parking strips, a piece of land owned by the town, and a small retail plaza. A second public hearing on the matter was closed. Now the architectural development firm has 45 days to complete a final environmental impact statement. After that statement is submitted to town officials, they will have 30 days to review the document and submit their findings. After town officials submit their findings on the report, a public hearing will be held on May 5th. At the zoning hearing, town officials will consider the applicant's requests to allow a 6th floor on the building and expand by 2 parcels, the size of a special area in town that allows both residential and commercial uses. If town officials don't approve these zoning changes, then the project officials would have to submit their alternative proposal, which is to build a 5-story apartment building with an underground parking garage and additional surface-level parking. Also, if the requested zoning changes are not approved, the size of the parcel would be reduced because project officials would not acquire 2 small parcels of land owned by the town. These 2 parcels are part of the current proposal.
The computer age is coming to the sewer system in Mamaroneck town and village. Officials are working on a project that will set up computerized maps of the systems. Mamaroneck town, Mamaroneck village, and the county have entered into an agreement to do a needs analysis for the implementation of a geographic information system. Once implemented, this computer-based system will give village officials a much better idea of what the sewer system looks like, what conditions the sewers are in, when repairs are needed, and how any other such issues can be resolved. Implementing the system will also help to control the environmental impact of the sewage system on Mamaroneck Harbor and Long Island Sound.
Mr. Dennis Bruciani has been hired as Mamaroneck Village's new clerk-treasurer. He is taking over the duties of Lenny Verostro, who was promoted to village manager last year. Bruciani has worked as an account office manager at Westchester Joint Waterworks and has an ABS in criminal justice from Mercy College. He also has an MBA in finance from Long Island University. Mr. Bruciani lives in Mamaroneck with his wife and 2 small children, and we wish him well.
The discussion in Mamaroneck Village about the possible relocation of the Kemper Memorial at the Mamaroneck High School continues. The 2 sides on the issue are still very much apart. Here's what it's all about. In World War II, Lieutenant Richard Kemper died in France. His father bought a piece of land on the Boston Post Road in 1945, and this land was donated to the Mamaroneck High School. According to the deed, the memorial was donated to the high school to create a memorial for those graduates of the school that died in World War II. Their names are etched in the stone on the monument. The school district wants to move the memorial to make room for a soccer field. At a meeting of the Board of Education, its president, Robert Martin, said that the attorneys who the School Board of Education had consulted told the board that moving the memorial would not violate the deed. Robert Martin was quoted in the Times, "We believe very strongly that our proposed actions are not in violation of the deed that gave ownership of this land to the school district." The board thought the advice of experienced and knowledgeable legal counsel in the areas of real estate, charitable gifts, and education law concerning the school district's rights and responsibilities. They all tell us that they believe the board is within its rights and the law to make the changes they were considering. End of quote. At the Board of Education meeting at the high school, it was also explained that by moving the memorial, its size would not be changed, and the total cost of the project, including the landscaping, would be about $1.3 million. Richard Cantor, who is a member of the Kemper family, said at the meeting, is quoted in the Times, "The park should not be under the threat of destruction. The Kemper Memorial is sacred by many definitions. It is sacred in the hearts and minds of those who lost so many." The Mamaroneck Historical Society also offered its view. Its president, Leo Spinelli, was quoted in the Times saying, "Your decision to encroach upon the Kemper Memorial is morally flawed and is opposed vehemently by our organization." End of quote. The Board of Education will schedule further hearings to get a better idea of the view of the public on this issue.
Some new wheels for Mamaroneck Village Police. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger is here with more.
Good news for the village of Mamaroneck. The police department is getting 2 new Harley-Davidson motorcycles that will join the village's police radar patrol. These bikes were purchased with the $47,000 that was raised through the very generous donations of many private citizens. Another addition is the new DARE vehicle. This was a group effort. Village trustee Joe Angeletta had a creative idea to revamp an old police cruiser with the help of some local businesses. Also, Lieutenant Hank Paul and DARE officers David Castorella and Richard Carroll, who worked on the design of the vehicle, which is in a classic black and white LAPD style, which was repainted by Vincent's Garage. The DARE program is a national program designed to teach students to just say no to drugs and alcohol and curb school violence. The last vehicle is the village's first emergency response team, formed in the aftermath of 9/11. This was made possible by modifying a used ambulance. The police department's emergency response team will carry specialized tools and communications equipment. So all in all, the village officials got some great bargains when they went shopping for some new police vehicles. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Larchmont computer buses will keep rolling. Here with more is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Commuters of bus routes 70 and 71 can breathe a sigh of relief for the rest of the year. These routes have been maintained in spite of Westchester County's budget cuts. These buses travel from Larchmont Manor and parts of the town of Mamaroneck to and from the Larchmont train station. The board and the county executive have committed themselves to work with the state so that a $5 million in-service reductions will not be needed until 2005. Bus supporters may need to continue to fight for these routes. So legislator Latimer says full buses make their own case. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Family University's coming to Mamaroneck, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has details from organizers of the event.
We have had around 100 volunteers working on this for a full year. It takes a year to create one of these family U's, and it is now completed. We are set to go on March 27th. We have everyone should have received.
I thought it was the 25th.
25th.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
It'll be over by the 27th.
Yes.
This is the application and
This is
brochure?
the application and the brochure. We have 27 fabulous workshops. We,
that's where the
input that, that went into creating these was a collaborative effort of students and parents and teachers giving input into what are the concerns and interests of our community. So this should have come in the mail by now.
Okay.
And so everybody needs to get this out and take a look, pick their choices. Please register early so that they get their choices, their first choices.
Now, who's sponsoring this?
We're able to do this by a generous grant from the Mamaroneck Schools Foundation and the school district.
Now, you'll have a couple of workshops, and tell us about the keynote speaker. It's very exciting when I was reading about it.
Yes, we are very proud to bring two deaf poets. They're from, they've been on HBO. And they've been on various other platforms to express their emotions and their feelings on really important topics such as self-respect and family issues and relationships. And they are going to do like a poetry slam for us.
Right.
It's going to be probably about 35 minutes in total, and they are going to be really, really great.
Sounds like fun.
And the deaf poets actually generated from student interest from the show. So
They can really identify with a lot of topics that they bring up. Fun for parents and kids.
absolutely.
Now, there's 2 workshops, and how long do the workshops last?
The workshops are an hour each. There are 2 sessions. There's people can choose one from each session, and there is a box dinner that's between the 2 sessions, and the deaf poets will be between the 2 sessions as well. And it's an evening that once it gets started, just
Nonstop.
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 It's exciting. People are really involved in the workshops and what they're doing, and then the dinners are just a wonderful chance to all be together.
Now, what grades can attend, and how much does it cost? And
Actually, in terms of cost, it is for the entire evening, which includes dinner and 2 workshops, as well as the keynote, are $10 for adults, $5 for students of middle school and high school, and scholarships are available. All they have to do is call the phone number, which is 834-2177.
now, excuse me, what if you have children in middle school and high school, but you also have a grammar school student that wants to come along that evening? How would that work?
It's a great question. Kids who are younger than 6th grade are more than welcome to join. There is free childcare thanks to Children's Corner, and they will have also a very exciting, really fun, educational, interactive evening planned thanks to Children's Corner.
The thing that parents need to know, make note of for the elementary level students who come for the child care is that they need to bring their own bag dinner.
Oh, their own dinner,
We're not
okay.
providing food for them, and no peanut products.
No peanut products.
We don't want
Not allowed.
any allergy problems.
Yeah,
so,
that would not make the,
No.
the evening fun.
No.
No, not at all. Now, the date is the 25th, correct?
Yes.
And it starts and ends at what time? What are the times?
Registration begins at 6.
Okay.
And the workshops will begin at 6:30, and then it goes till 9:40.
Okay.
And like Janet mentioned before, registration starts at 6, but you need to register in advance. So what registration looks like at 6 is coming to pick up your personalized folder with your schedule and educational materials and everything that's mapped out for you personally for that evening.
Okay. Now, if you didn't get one of these brochures in the mail, I understand you can go to a website.
You can go to the school district website, which is Mamaroneck or mamkschools.org.
Correct, right.
And there's a flashing Family U symbol.
Okay.
And click on that, and it will take you right to this brochure.
Now, I understand to download the application, you can click on the PDF version.
Right. And you'll download the registration form, print it out, and it's self-explanatory, and you just mail it in.
Okay, and again, the registration date, the applications must be received by the
19th?
And that is, what day of the week is that?
It's a Friday.
Friday, and the following week on Thursday, the 25th, is the big event.
Yes.
Family University. Well, thank you again for coming in.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Here is news from the Hispanic Resource Center is Larchmont Marina Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Harold Lasso, the executive director of the Hispanic Resource Center, has been assisting workers with claims that many workers are being treated unfairly and their wages are sometimes withheld. Mr. Lasso is promising to continue working with these laborers to secure their wages and for justice. Groups of protesters have circled the sidewalk in front of the Pro Wash company. Workers have declared management sometimes take their tips and continue to pay them $3.20 per hour. The agreement was that their tips would bring their pay up to over $5 an hour. Mr. Lasso has encouraged the workers to document their claims and allegations with a video camera. The Hispanic Resource Center is committed to helping all immigrants, regardless of their country of origin. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Local high school students model Congress. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Caitlin Fahey has the story.
On Tuesday, February 17th, 10 members of the Mamaroneck High School's Model Congress acted as senators and debated a bill tied to Homeland Security. The students debated in one of the executive chambers at the Westchester County Legislative Office. The Model Congress is a large group of students who are given the chance to construct bills of their own interest, and then they are debated after having a week to research them. The club teaches students research and writing skills, Club Advisor Jill Amarata said. It is a way for them to learn the legislative process inside and out. The students presented the debate for County Legislator George Latimer, who gave a presentation comparing local governments to national governments. Most of the students from the club will also be participating in the 7th Annual University of Pennsylvania's Nationwide High School Model Congress Convention. For 4 days, the students will debate political issues and pass bills simulating Congress. Ms. Amarata said the goal of the club is for the students to understand the United States legislative process by actually modeling it. At the UPenn conference, the students' bills will go through committee debate and, if passed, will move to full session. If the Congress decides to pass the bill, then a mock Supreme Court will determine whether or not the bill is constitutional. If they do, the author of the bill wins an award. Good luck to all the participating students. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Caitlin Fahey.
Larchmont Marina Community News reporter Laura Cruz-Cullen has details on the search for school board nominees.
The Mamaroneck Committee for the Selection of School Board Nominees has an applicant pool and has gone to the interview stage of its process. They will select 2 candidates to endorse for the May 18, 2004 elections. Sil Marone, chairperson of the selection committee, stated that they have received sufficient applications from candidates to be able to interview and evaluate them all. He is certain that they will get 2 good candidates for the open seats on the board. Announcements will be made by the committee in late March, early April. Endorsed candidates and anyone interested in running will have to obtain names of at least 42 qualified voters on petition forms and submit them to the district clerk, B. Carsulli's office no later than April 19, 2004 by 5 p.m. There are 2 school board members whose terms are up this year. Cecilia Abshner is seeking re-election. Bob Martin, however, is not. He is reserving his right to change his mind. Traditionally, the selection committee endorses 1 candidate for each open seat, and unless an independent candidate comes forward, the elections will be uncontested. The selection committee itself is an independent, nonpartisan, self-funded organization. Every year, there are 8 seats open. This year, there is 1 extra position because a member from the Mamaroneck Avenue School is stepping down. The committee will be making all efforts to encourage residents to consider becoming involved and seek membership status. Elections take place in each elementary school on the same day as the board and budget vote, but in separate parts of the building. For further information, you may or can go to the committee's website, www.selectcommittee.org, or you can call Sil Monroe at 834-4388. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Laura Cruz Colon.
Here with an update on local real estate is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. I was asked again last week about the appraisal process. The appraisal process involves a disinterested third party who is hired by a lending agency to determine the value of a house in a competitive market. You must have an appraisal if you wish to obtain a mortgage. The lender wants to be sure that their investment is sound. Remember, the house is yours as long as you repay the mortgage. It's a good idea to get an appraiser that works in Westchester County. Even if you decide to spend cash, you should still use the services of an appraiser. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record 1 show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, Channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show, and they will try to put it on at a time that is convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Maybe you'd like to shoot video, whatever the case. We need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do and what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from the landmark Walters hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you would like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Sven. Will there be a swap of the Morris land in Larchmont?
An oil tank explodes, injuring a Larchmont worker.
A new principal is named for Central School.
And the future business leaders of America stop by our studio. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. An eastbound train struck and killed a man on Thursday, March 11th during the morning rush hour at the Larchmont Metro North train station. The accident occurred just east and north of the platform at about 8 a.m. The man was believed to have been trespassing and was found DOA at the scene. The victim, who some claim jumped, was not released at the time of the taping of this program. Local police responded immediately, and Metro North police investigators searched under the first 4 cars of the train for 2 hours after the accident. MTA police officers spoke to the train's crew and any witnesses to try to find out what happened.
Manor Park in Larchmont will see a large beautification project over the next couple of years. This jewel on Long Island Sound will be redone with funds raised by the Larchmont Manor Park Society over last year. The Society was able to raise $1 million from its members. Half of those proceeds will go to the infrastructure of the park. The walks and seawalls and the structures in the park will be rebuilt or repaired. Also, new trees will be planted. A major portion of the $500,000 for repairs will be spent on the bathhouse and also on one of the gazebos in the park. $150,000 will be put in a fund that will be set up for contingencies such as damage caused by a storm. The other $500,000 will go to a Manor Park endowment, which will be a source of permanent funding for the maintenance of the park. The Larchmont Manor Park Society owns Manor Park. It has a membership of about 130. You may also want to note in your calendar May 15 when an art show will be displayed on the lawns of the park. It will be called Manor Park in All Seasons. Everybody will be welcome at this event.
Vinnie Biancho, a Larchmont Department of Public Works employee and resident of Mamaroneck, was injured on March 3rd when an oil tank ruptured at the village's public works yard at 2015 Boston Post Road. Biancho was sawing a hole in the tank to drain some residual oil so that it could be discarded. The blast sent Biancho into the air, shattered a nearby window, and left oil splattered on the ground. Within minutes of the explosion, the Larchmont Village Police, Fire Department, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Volunteer Ambulance Corps personnel appeared on the scene. Biancho, who had no visible or internal injuries, was kept at Sound Shore Medical Center in New Rochelle overnight. Village trustee Liz Neuer-Feld said in the Journal News that the County Health Department had been notified of the accident because it involved a small oil spill, and the State Labor Department was told because of the worker injury.
With the latest on a proposal regarding a swap of parkland in Larchmont, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch.
Brian Morris wants to build a house in Larchmont. He owns this property adjacent to the Julia B. Fee Realty office on Palmer Avenue, but that's not where he wants to put the house. Instead, he wants to build on this lot, commonly known as Memorial Park. It belongs to the village of Larchmont. It's just a stone's throw away from the lot that he owns. It's a pocket of green with a few benches and a picnic table. He's proposed a land swap of sorts, and therein lies the story.
The plan to swap a private parcel of land for a village-owned park was approved by the Neighborhood Planning Commission in Larchmont last month over the objection of a neighborhood group and a negative opinion from a consultant to the Village Parks and Trees Committee. Mr. Morris owns the land that sits between the realty office and his mother's home. The park in question is a small wooded lot on the other side of Maureen Morris's house. Mr. Morris argues that switching the two lots would allow the park to serve as a buffer between the commercial district on Palmer and all of the houses, including his mother's and the new one he would like to construct. Ironically, the Morrises used to own the park land, but swapped it years ago for the lot they now own next door to the realty office, a lot that was originally, you guessed it, a small village park. The current park's neighbors, though, have organized a group to fight the deal. STEP, or Save the Existing Park, gathered more than 100 signatures objecting to the trade, even if the Morrises pay the village extra money to compensate for the difference in value of the two lots. For his part, Mr. Morris has agreed to the Planning Commission's insistence that both properties be appraised, and he's said he will pay the village the difference in value. In addition, he's agreed to build a house no larger than one already approved for the lot he currently owns. He's also said to be willing to pay for improvements to what would be the new park if the swap goes through. However, many neighbors still oppose the idea. So what's next? Well, last Thursday, Mr. Morris offered to update LMC Community News viewers.
I've been working with the planning board, and finally the planning board has agreed that the right place to put the park is back where it was back in 1961, and they've voted to have me move forward with the village board as far as negotiating a price and kind of the logistics. There is still a little bit of resistance from the local residents, and I've been trying to work with them, working with the Parks and Trees Commission to come to an agreement as far as price to actually make improvements on the new piece of property, which I think would be a great new location for a park and really a place to have a brand new park for the village.
Whatever the outcome of future deliberations, village board members agree that some good has come from the community's renewed focus on the park. Reporting for Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
Are you looking for a night out? Well, listen up to Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger, who's got the details about the Emmeline's upcoming events.
The Emmeline Theater has some exciting speakers and performers this month that you won't want to miss. Are you a New York Jets fan? Well, on Sunday, March 21st, Chad Pennington, quarterback of the New York Jets, will be interviewed by Brandon Steiner of Steiner Sports for the new Kid Talk series. After the interview, Pennington will take questions from the audience. All proceeds from this event will go to Pennington's charity, the Perfect 10 Foundation. Eli Abdallah, marketing director for the Emmeline Theater, told the Journal News, quote, "It's a premier event," end quote. He hopes Pennington's visit may be the start of a trend for the Emmeline, hoping to bring other sports celebrities in the future. Also this month, on March 18th, the annual Juilliard School Pets Check Award Winners Concert will take place, featuring this year's winner, 24-year-old pianist Suni Lee. On March 27th, David Finkel and Wu Han, a popular husband and wife cello and piano duo, will be performing. They have toured Mexico, Canada, the Far East, and many European countries, and received unanimous critical acclaim. One of my favorites, Maureen McGovern. She is the singer of the Oscar-winning song, The Morning After, from the movie The Poseidon Adventure. McGovern has recorded more than 25 albums and has been in show business for more than 30 years. Another entertainer slated for this month is family entertainer Michael Troutman, whose act includes clowning, mime, storytelling, magic, juggling, fire eating, and improvisation. The Emmeline Theater is located at 153 Library Lane in Mamaroneck. For tickets, showtimes, or more information, call 698-0098 or log on to www.emmeline.org. Reporting for Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
We're all experiencing that gas prices have a strong upward tendency at the moment. This is caused by uncertainty about political developments in some of the supplying countries, particularly the political future of Venezuela. Elaine Price, the former Mamaroneck town supervisor and now the director of the Westchester County Department of Consumer Protection, told the Journal News, quote, "The problem is uncertainty. The perception of trouble will increase prices overnight, whether it comes to fruition or not." End of quote. She also said that there was a good chance that prices may go up to $2.50 a gallon by the beginning of summer. In any case, watch gas prices at different gas stations very closely and take advantage of those who offer gas at a lower price.
I'm definitely starting to do that already.
Well, I guess
sometimes there's about a 20-cent difference I've noticed, even between two towns that are fairly close.
Yeah, you have to watch it carefully.
Yes, you do. Pinch those pennies. Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin has the details about a new principal taking over at Central School.
A new head of classes for Central Elementary School. Principal Naomi Hill is retiring, being replaced by Lori Presti. Ms. Presti currently is the assistant principal at Bedford Road Elementary School in Pleasantville. She will begin working at Central on July 1. Ms. Presti grew up in Pelham and attended Iona College and the College of New Rochelle. She taught 1st and 4th grades at the Ward School in New Rochelle for 9 years, and she's also taught special education to kindergarten students in New York City. We join the school district in welcoming new Principal Presti. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Fahey has the story behind a new program on LMC-TV involving high school students and the art of debate.
There's a new half-hour program on LMC-TV called It's Debatable. This show, starred by the father-son team of Ralph and Stefano Petrillo, places 4 Mamaroneck High School students to debate against 4 students from another Westchester high school. The teams have 2 weeks to research and prepare their topic. It's a lot of work, said Mr. Petrillo. However, the students seem to enjoy the work. Mr. Petrillo is looking for more Westchester communities to put forward teams to join in the debates. If you are interested, please contact Ralph Petrillo at ralphpetrillo1@msn.com. The show airs on Channel 75 at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesdays and 12:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. on Thursdays. The debate this week is pro or con using animals for scientific purposes. Be sure to tune in. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Caitlin Fahey.
And with her weekly news about real estate, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. Pollution, hazardous materials, real or imaginary, can impact on the value and sale of property. Sometimes the cost of cleaning up and removing pollution can become more than the dollar value of a property. Pollution is caused by impurities in the environment, the air or water. Then there is the issue of hazardous materials, which is best diagnosed by a certified professional. However, a professional realtor should ask property owners and get disclosures about some dangerous materials. For example, lead, asbestos, and soon possibly molds. Yes, I said molds. Molds are living organisms that love water and moisture. They can live in the basement or in the attic or any place else in the house. Molds can affect you as well as the inanimate objects. If you carry a moldy package from the basement to another area of the house, you may have transferred the mold. Many of these problems impact on the respiratory system, and they are not just allergies. Some people can sense a sick building as soon as they enter. Beware. In general, when you plan to purchase a home, make sure you have the disclosures. Ask your inspector to check for everything. For molds, for lead, asbestos, PCPs, and anything else he thinks would be dangerous for your family. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck, I'm Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Richard, a New Rochelle resident, recently died at age 93. For many years, she was very involved in local issues in our area as the news editor for the Sound View News, a weekly newspaper in Westchester County. Her career in journalism started when she was 13 years old, and growing up in Iowa, she published her first article. Later, she worked for the Daily News in New York and was also a journalism teacher at the former Good Counsel College in White Plains. Furthermore, she worked as a public relations consultant for government agencies, private organizations, and local politicians. Among her activities in local organizations was her involvement with the St. John Episcopal Church in Larchmont, the Girl Scouts of America, and the Mamaroneck Women's Club. St. Clair Richard died at age 93.
The Future Business Leaders of America and MHS organizations stopped by our studios to speak with Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin.
The distinguished group of young gentlemen joining me tonight are from the Mamaroneck High School chapter of the Future Business Leaders of America, or FBLA. We have the president, Herbie Weisberg. Alex Cowan is the secretary. Tommy Fiatchko is historian, and Peter Toll is a new member. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Herbie, why don't you tell us, what is FBLA?
Well, FBLA is a student-run organization. In fact, it's the largest student-run organization in the U.S. It has 250,000 members, and basically what we do is we train students to better enter the workforce as socially aware members, business members.
Okay. Peter, beyond that, are there additional goals?
Yes, FBLA educates members, giving them skills needed to succeed in business. Also, we raise money for a number of charities and provide services for school and village communities, fundraising, you know, all that nice stuff.
And what are planned for the future?
What we have planned in the future is we're attending the State Leadership Conference, where hundreds of schools from across the state compete in a variety of competitions, ranging from business law to parliamentary procedure. And we're hoping to win that trophy again. It's for
You mean this large trophy? This was from last year?
In the state.
From the state conference.
It's the pinnacle of the FBLA year, and all the members work really hard to try to win. Last year I actually won first place in Outstanding New Member of the Year competition, and it was really a lot of fun and a lot of hard work, and Alex Stringle won first place in economics and got to go to the national level in Dallas, Texas.
How very exciting.
Yes.
Well, Alex, what has FBLA done so far this year?
So far this year, FBLA has done a variety of charities, ranging from attending a senior citizens community luncheon to helping out the March of Dimes with their Blue Jeans for Babies campaign. We've also attended local, state, and national competitions, run social events in the school store, and much more.
Okay, Tommy, what's your chapter currently doing?
Well, our chapter is preparing for the State Leadership Conference, which will be taking place in late April.
Are all of you going, or does the whole
Yes,
the whole
all
group?
of us are going. 19 members from our chapter will be attending. It's taking place in Rochester, New York, and all of our members are right now preparing for their competitions, and hopefully they'll win. But during the whole year, we're always doing lots of work, and we're always open to guest speakers to guide us and to mentor us in our professional division.
Well, tell me about that professional division. You mean there's a division for people like me?
Yes, of course.
Why don't you tell us about that?
Well, the professional division is for the alumni and all the adults in the business world or in the professional world. And all those people can come in and speak with us. They can be guest speakers. In the past, we've had somebody from the Westchester College. This September, we'll most likely be getting somebody teaching us about the art of negotiation. So
Donald Trump coming?
No, not Donald Trump. Maybe someday, but it really is a great help to all of the members because they really do learn something in just a really short period of time.
Well, Herbie, what do you hope will happen from you guys being on the show?
Well, we're hoping that from being on the show, the community will gain more community awareness of what we're doing with our organization, and it always makes it a lot easier to do anything when we have the community behind us. And we're always looking for people to come to meetings, to talk to us. We're looking for donations, anything that can be given to our chapter, we're fine with, and we welcome.
Well, Alex, how do we contact FBLA if we want to get more involved?
To contact FBLA, you can email our advisor, Mrs. Multari, at multari@mamkschools.org, or you can attend one of our general meetings, which are held weekly, Wednesdays from 11:20 to 11:50 in Mamaroneck High School in room D245.
Anything else you guys want to add?
Yes, I forgot to mention that the Larchmont Rotary Club has actually pledged to become part of our professional division next year, and we'd like to publicly thank them for that because it's a great thing that they're doing.
Okay, well, I thank you for coming in and talking to us tonight, and good luck at the state championships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at about 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. And we get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. And don't forget to vote on Tuesday, March 16th in the Larchmont Village elections from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Okay.
And that's only if they're winning. School taxes may rise close to 10%.
The Mamaroneck Schools Foundation awards grants.
New monitors and alarms are approved for county sewer pumps.
Cell phones banned in some interesting places.
And it's Girl Scout cookie time. We'll tell you how to get them. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story: the projected increase in the Mamaroneck District school budget is over $7 million, or 9.44%. To fund the budget would require a tax rate increase of 9.82%, or $545.23 per $1,000 of assessed value. The new budget includes a $2 million transfer from the general fund to be used in part for property reconfiguration and expansion at the high school, and for the final phase of a 3-year transfer for financing renovations of the pool at Hommocks Middle School. A plan to issue approximately $10 million in serial bonds in the 2004-2005 school year to fund capital projects is also scheduled as part of the district's $49.7 million 6-year strategic plan for all of its school facilities. Total enrollment for the district is projected to increase. As a result, district officials will hire 1 additional psychologist for the secondary schools, 2 full-time special education teaching positions, and 1 regular teaching position at the high school. Additional school nurse services have been added at Hommocks Middle School, too. It's important to note that according to the recommended budget document, increases in the employees' and teachers' retirement systems have quadrupled. The 2003-2004 allocation for retirement and health insurance premiums will also increase almost 13%.
The good news is that Mamaroneck schools are getting $217,000 in 30 different grants from the Mamaroneck Schools Foundation. The Mamaroneck Schools Foundation was organized by parents and community members in 1996 to provide and support innovative programs, materials, and facilities for the Mamaroneck schools. This year's grants for the 2004-05 school year include a Steinway concert piano for the new Hommocks Auditorium, Pasco computer interfaces for physics and TI Navigator wireless networks for math in the high school, nonfiction reading materials for all 4 district elementary schools, and support for redesigns of the Hommocks Commons. The sum of this year's grants is double the amount given out last year. Mamaroneck Schools Foundation President Sabrina Fiddleman says she is thrilled that the foundation was able to provide so much and thanks the community for its support. She notes that the program would not be possible without the help of the teachers who actually write the grants. Fundraising is underway for next year. The second annual Spring Gala will be held May 8th at the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club and includes both a silent and live auction. For more information, you can call 698-9079. Contributions may also be sent to the Mamaroneck Schools Foundation, P.O. Box 123, Larchmont, New York, 10538.
Jennifer Gutara, a 23-year-old Mamaroneck woman who killed her friend when she crashed his car while drunk, was sentenced March 17th. Gutara was driving Justin Kronrad's car nearly 90 miles per hour up Mamaroneck Avenue at about 3:30 a.m. on June 21st when the car crossed the median, flipped over a guardrail, and struck a tree north of the Saxon Woods pool. Kronrad, 27, of Carmel, was pronounced dead at the scene, and Gutara suffered pelvic and abdominal injuries. Gutara was arrested 3 weeks later after toxicology tests revealed her blood alcohol content was 0.2%, twice New York's legal limit at the time. She was released on $25,000 bail, but she was sent to the county jail in early December after she twice violated bail conditions by testing positive for alcohol and marijuana. She was released again in January after pleading guilty to second-degree vehicular manslaughter and driving while intoxicated. After her plea, she entered a court-ordered substance abuse program. Gutara was sentenced to 6 months in the county jail and placed on probation for the next 5 years. She was also fined $1,000 and her driver's license was revoked. Any violation of probation would result in a maximum state prison sentence of 7 years.
With the latest on an approval for the installation of sewer pump monitors and alarms in our area, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch.
The Westchester County Board of Legislators turned its attention to sewage pumps earlier this month, authorizing a program to monitor the pump stations operated by the county. Legislator George Latimer, who represents this area, explained it this way. By installing monitors and alarms, he said, we will better protect our neighbors and better protect our environment with quick action to correct pump station problems when they arise. The county authorized bonding for $250,000 worth of work in Rise City, the town of Mamaroneck, and the village of Mamaroneck. Another $210,000 will pay for monitoring pumps in Larchmont and New Rochelle. The work won't be done immediately, however. There are bonds to issue, bids to let, contractors to organize. According to Latimer, implementation should follow in the near future. Mamaroneck Administrator Steve Altieri praised the plan, saying it will allow for a much quicker response and will greatly reduce pollution of the sound and the immediate area. The town of Mamaroneck's pump station already has an alarm system that calls for help in cases of mechanical malfunction. The new monitoring systems will be installed in several locations: in Mamaroneck Town and Village, on Fenimore Road, the West Basin, East Basin, Cove Road, Saxon Woods, and Weaver Street. In Larchmont Village, on Magnolia Avenue, Woodbine Avenue, Flint Avenue, Beach Avenue, and Park Avenue, Circle Avenue. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
Residents raise lots of money for Flint Park. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger has the rock and roll story.
Recently held at the American Legion Hall in Flint Park, approximately 100 supporters attended, including all 5 of the Village Board of Trustees, and they enjoyed a wonderful evening, including food, drinks, and lots of dancing. In addition, $8,000 was raised for the Flint Park Playground Project. Those who were unable to attend made generous contributions. Bridget Brennan, co-chair of the Flint Park Playground Group, said this event, together with the past fundraising efforts, has brought the group closer to their goal for the new playground equipment. The project's budget is approximately $150,000 and includes safety surfacing, landscaping, and benches, all of which they hope will be covered by village funds. They have received a great level of support and commitment throughout the process from Mayor Ken Bialo and the village board. The playground group have some exciting plans to improve Flint Park. The plan includes 2 separate play areas, one for toddlers and one for older children. Also included in is a boat in theme with the park's waterfront location, and a climbing wall too. This plan has been evolving over the past 2 years. If all goes well, the group hopes to order the equipment later this spring with installations slated for this fall. These improvements will be a community build by residents and the Village Department of Public Works crew, and overseen by the equipment's manufacturer. If you would like to make a contribution in support of this project, you can. Send your contributions to the Flint Park Conservancy, P.O. Box 918, that's P.O. Box 918, Larchmont, New York, 10538. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
No more cell phones in Westchester County public restrooms, locker rooms, and changing facilities. County Executive Andy Spano issued the executive order effective immediately because the popularity of camera-enabled cell phones puts everyone at risk of being photographed at, shall we say, inopportune moments and finding those photos posted on the internet. Well, why ban all cell phones? According to Mr. Spano's chief advisor, Susan Cholchin, it's difficult to distinguish between phones with and without cameras.
Are you a young artist looking for something to do over spring break? Well, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch has the details about a special project.
The Mamaroneck Library has put out a call for local artists, youngsters from kindergarten through 6th grade, to help create a giant piece of art for the children's library. Jill Parry, a Mamaroneck artist, will work along with the children on what's described as a collage of impressions of Mamaroneck's harbor, incorporating bits of fabric, beads, and colorful thread. The fun starts April 5 and ends April 9. The very week schools will close for spring vacation. Children can participate for the entire week or just for part of it. If this sounds like an ambitious project, it certainly is. To be finished in just 1 week by children and then permanently mounted on the wall between the Children's Library and the Emmelyn Theater. The artwork will be visible to patrons in both spaces, hopefully drawing children as well as adults into the library. Organizers also want the project to strengthen a sense of community. The harbor, said artist Jill Parry, is where all parts of the community, young and old, come together to play or watch soccer, sit on the beach, take in the boats, and celebrate the 4th of July. She thinks even the youngest children will have a vision of the harbor to contribute to the collage, an art project that the library says will keep kids constructively occupied during the school vacation when many parents have to work. And of course, there's the artistic aspect. Rather than painting on paper, the children will glue, sew, and cut to create their impressions of the harbor. Jill Parry is an accomplished artist with 10 years' experience in local schools. She's supervised youngsters doing other large mural creations, one for the Boys and Girls Club in New Rochelle, and another being created right now, all in white, to illustrate the Alaskan tundra. The Harbor Collage has support from the Westchester Arts Council and the Friends of the Mamaroneck Library. The staff there has already begun signing up youngsters or artists for the big project. Call or visit the library for more information and to sign up. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Michael Witch.
That time of the year again, the Girl Scouts are out and about selling their world-famous cookies. Whether you like the Thin Mints, Samoas, Do-si-dos, Tagalongs, or trefoils, the Girl Scouts have it all. Every year, 42 communities in Westchester and Putnam counties have their Girl Scouts participate in the most delectable fundraiser. Last year, the girls of Larchmont Mamaroneck had the 3rd largest sales in the 2 counties. The cookies are sold for $3.50 a box, and each troop keeps 50 cents a box. And with the money they earn this year, they're going on a trip to Disney World, says leader of Group 1838, Diane Schwarstedt. Many of the buyers donate to the Gift of Caring program. This program allows people to buy cookies and then the girls donate them to a local charity. Many of the troops give to the Larchmont Mamaroneck Hunger Task Force. It is a wonderful charity. People can support the Girl Scouts, help out our community, and not cheat their diets. Much of the cookie sales are going to the Girl Scout Council programs all across Westchester and Putnam counties. If you would like to get your last-minute orders in, please contact Pat Allen at allenjp@optonline.net, or you can contact the cookie chairperson, Nancy Ossenford. And keep an eye out for booth sales coming after April 19th. Good luck to all the Girl Scouts. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Caitlin Fahey.
And in case you hadn't heard, Larchmont Village re-elected its mayor and 2 trustees on March 16th, with fewer than 10% of voters casting ballots. Republican Mayor Ken Bialo and trustee Liz Feld and Democratic trustee Marlene Colbert all ran unopposed.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs from the landmark Walters hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Alyssha. Mamaroneck fire leaves 70 homeless.
Construction begins at Larchmont train station.
We have the latest on the park swap.
The village says suburban carting must go.
And beware of DWD, dialing while driving, as police crack down on handheld cell phone use. Those stories and more right here on this edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Our top story. A fire ripped through 604 Tompkins Avenue, Mamaroneck on Sunday, March 28th. The blaze was reported at 8:30 p.m. and was apparently caused by an electrical problem. 70 people were left homeless after the fire struck the 4-story brick building with 72 units known as the Evelyn Court apartment building. More than 200 firefighters responded from Mamaroneck and 5 other departments and were able to put out the flames within 3 hours. 7 firefighters suffered minor injuries, one of whom was taken to United Hospital Medical Center. No tenants were killed, but a dog did perish. Volunteers from the Westchester chapter of the American Red Cross set up temporary shelters at a local Methodist church and Applebee's restaurant. Meanwhile, local merchants stayed open late to provide food and drinks to emergency personnel and tenants. 4 apartments were destroyed, 2 sustained water, smoke, and structural damage, and 6 more sustained less severe water damage, broken windows and walls. Residents cannot move back in until utilities can be restored. And coincidentally, Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Christina Bolger owns a unit in the building and was able to gather some footage and discuss the tragedy with the building manager.
I'm here at 604 Tompkins Avenue in the village of Mamaroneck. The Evelyn Court Apartments had a devastating fire on Sunday evening, the 28th of March. I'm here with the building's manager from WRG Management, Charles Immunolal. Could you tell us more about how the fire started and what happened?
Then we were told by the police, by the fire department and the fire marshal, that it was an electrical fire in the ceiling. And it started on B7 on the first floor and spread up to the other units upstairs.
Now, there are 3 buildings here, correct?
Yes, there are 3 wings to 604, Building 1, Building 2, and Building 3.
And it happened in Building 2?
Building 2, yes.
And how many, there's a total of how many apartments here, 70?
70 apartments at the complex, yes.
And when will people, do you think, be able to go back to their homes?
Then, based on the evaluation that was done today by the building department, we are looking at Wednesday, Thursday of next week, that people can occupy building 1 and building 3. However, in building 2, we don't have an estimated time when people can occupy those units.
Now, there's 70 families displaced. Is the management helping them, or the village? Where are they now?
Then we have, the Red Cross was very instrumental in placing a lot of people. And the people at 604, most of the owners here acquired their own insurance, the homeowners insurance. And we were told by Allstate and State Farm that they are displacing these people and they are paying for their boarding and lodging elsewhere.
Now, I understand the superintendent, his apartment was pretty much demolished. Was that from the fire or water damage?
It was mostly from water damages.
And I understand, however, he will be able to come back into the apartment building?
Then we are hoping that he can come back in the apartment building, but at this time we are doing construction downstairs, trying to make it livable, but we are trying to find temporary residence so he can stay at the complex.
That's wonderful. I'm sure he'll be happy that he can come back, even though it's under working circumstances. Also, I understand no one is allowed in the building unless they have proper identification, and it will be manned 24 hours a day?
Yes, we have hired the Mamaroneck Police Department to guard the premises 24 hours a day, yes. And person that coming in the building, yes, requires a good ID and the police escort inside the building.
So the residents here do not have to worry. There's security around the clock, correct?
Sure.
Well, I thank you for taking the time, and good luck with restoring this beautiful building.
Thank you.
Fortunately, there was no loss of life. However, there was a loss of a pet here. Our condolences to the family and also to the many residents here at 604 Tompkins Avenue. We wish you luck. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Urban carting in the village of Mamaroneck has been a source of controversy in the village for many years. Environmental complaints have been filed again and again against the company. Now village officials have decided to take the appropriate steps to shut down the company. The vote of the village board was unanimous. It authorized village attorney Kevin Plunkett to take the necessary steps, resulting in a formal order to close the waste transfer station on Fayette Avenue. The order would be based on previous violations of local and state law. Judge will have to make a decision on whether the order will be executed. It is very likely that Suburban Carting will file an injunction to block the order. Village officials expect a battle in court. The attorney for Suburban Carting has already said that the company would oppose the order. Its goal is to keep the transfer station in operation. Over the years, the village has monitored the environmental impact of the transfer station. Lately, officials found new evidence of environmental violations at the Suburban Carting site. A probe taken on February 9th by the Department of Environmental Conservation found signs of contaminated water in the area outside of the Suburban Carting site. The Department of Environmental Conservation also found a broken sump pump at the loading area. Suburban Carting has been at its current location on Fayette Avenue since 1981. Last summer, the Zoning Board of Appeals found the company to be in violation of its 1981 resolution. Suburban Carting is a subsidiary of Allied Waste Industries based in Scottsdale, Arizona. It is a $5.5 billion company and the second largest solid waste management operation in the U.S. Village Mayor Philip Trifoletti was quoted in the Times saying, "We think it would be best for the community if they are no longer here." End of quote.
Well, construction at Larchmont train station has begun. Contractors are working on the renovation of platforms, the overpass, underpass, and the waiting room. If you stop by the station, you'll see warning signs, dumpsters, large machinery, and portions of the platform boarded up. In fact, the underpass is completely closed off. The rehabilitation of the underpass and widening of the platform marks phase 1 of the project and is expected to be completed by June. The entire rehabilitation and renovation of Larchmont train station won't be done until 2006. Keep your eyes open for posted warnings and advisories, and stay safe.
With the latest on a proposal regarding a swap of parkland in Larchmont, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch.
On March 29th, the Larchmont Board of Trustees held a special meeting to hear from all parties concerning the proposal by Brian Morris to swap a parcel of land he owns for a similar parcel owned by the village. The area in question is at the intersection of Palmer Avenue and Parkway Street, across from the Larchmont Movie Theater. Morris, a Larchmont native, owns the land between the Julia Fee Realty office and his mother's house at 1956 Palmer. On the other side of her house is a small village park, not very much used, and until recently not very well maintained. Morris has asked to swap the properties and build a new house on the slightly larger lot. The village, he says, can then use his old property for a park, which he thinks would be a better buffer between the business area and the residential area. Some neighbors, however, disagree and have organized a committee to protest the deal. They want the existing park to stay a park and have begun to raise money to beautify it. The Village Planning Commission approves the swap, and Morris has agreed to pay the village the difference in value between the two properties. According to officials at Village Hall, the board has now heard the arguments from all parties but has reached no decision on the matter. It will not be on the board's agenda any time before May. Last week, Brian Morris appeared on camera, and this week, my colleague Glenna Gray arranged to interview Michael Hemming, who represents STEP, or Save the Existing Park. Glenna?
Thank you, Mike. Welcome, Michael Hemming. Today we have a very interesting event taking place in real estate in the village of Larchmont between public real estate and private real estate. Now, what is happening in the village between these two aspects of real estate?
Well, Glenna, there's a piece of property that is owned by the village. It's currently a park right here at the intersection of Palmer Avenue and Parkway. And just beyond it is a house that's owned by a family that would like to build a house on this park.
The house is here?
It's kind of behind these trees.
Behind the trees here, all right.
Now, this family has permission to build another house on their lot, which is adjacent to the Julia B. Fee real estate office over there.
That's right at the end. There's a wall here.
That's correct.
Yes.
And that lot is a little bit smaller, a little bit less a good place for a house, and so they're proposing to the village to swap and to build their house on the existing park.
And then move the park over here.
And that would be the deal. That the village would then develop a park on the Morris's private property.
Now, how long has the park been here?
Well, it's a funny story. Originally, the Morrises owned this whole block, or their ancestors did. And in the early 1960s, when the Morrises owned the store here and wanted to expand that store, they made a deal with the village to swap for what was then the village's land here. The Morrises gave their property here. And now what they're seeking to do is to undo that transaction and get that original piece of property back again.
Oh. Do you know if there was any money transferred, or was it just land for land? Do you know?
I don't know.
Don't know.
My understanding is that it was a straight swap.
Just land for land?
Yes.
I see. That's very interesting. And this is occurring on Palmer Avenue for any newcomers. And then you go down to the Parkway. Here's the movie house and the memorial, so people can get an understanding that many people never noticed that there is a park there.
Yeah, that park is really kind of underutilized, and people just sort of see it as open space. But if you take a good look at it, it has a tremendous potential. It's really just at the edge of town, and it's a very gentle sloping grade. The problem is it's got these picnic tables that are bolted to the ground, and you can't kind of get past them, and there's a big sign saying to keep the dogs out, and it's not a very pleasant place or very inviting. But the neighbors and the people in the area feel that it would be a terrible thing to lose it and just to have a house built there, because we feel that the land that the Morrises own is not nearly as pleasant. It's an irregularly shaped, smaller lot. It has a grade problem. It's about 2 feet up above the level of the sidewalk. It would be very difficult for people to get in there in strollers with kids and that kind of thing. And it's much closer to the main hustle and bustle of Palmer Avenue. So we want to retain the existing park, and we don't want the village to do this transaction with the Morrises.
Very interesting. Public versus private.
And that's
almost unique.
And
now, how does the state impact on this?
Well, apparently all parkland is registered in a way with the state, and so if a transaction was made here in the village, it wouldn't become final until the state approved it.
Well, keep tuned to LMC-TV, and we'll keep you updated on what's happening in the village of Larchmont with the parks. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Glenna.
Thank you, Mike and Glenna and Michael Hemming. It is interesting to note that there's also the perspective of the village of Larchmont in all of this. Some say the introduction of a cash component into the transaction makes the situation more of a sale than a swap. If the Morrises pay Larchmont Village for the land, can it be considered a simple swap of plots? And would the money be used for the park renovation, or would it wind up somewhere else? As the village board evaluates the proposal and determines what is in the best interest of the village, your opinion can still be heard by calling, emailing, or writing the mayor or board of trustees. And a Larchmont police officer needs our help. Larchmont Mamaroneck community news reporter Christina Bolger tells us how we can contribute.
Recently, the Larchmont Police Benevolent Association hosted a Code 1013 party. This particular code definition means an officer needs assistance and he needs help immediately. With this code in mind, the Larchmont PBA held this event for a fellow Larchmont officer, John, also known as Junior, Roberts, who was forced to retire following surgery for throat cancer. The 57-year-old officer has been on the force in Larchmont since 1975. He is married and has 2 grown daughters. His fellow officers say he's well-liked, quick to laugh, and outgoing. However, the doctors were forced to perform a laryngectomy. His voice box, teeth, gums, and all the lymph nodes in his neck were removed. Now Officer Roberts needs your help. He has a lengthy and very expensive rehabilitation in his future. Although he has insurance, there are huge residual bills from past treatments as far back as the fall of 2000. So his fellow officers organized this 1013 party to help raise money to assist John with his expenses. The tickets were $25 per person, and area restaurants donated food. There was 2 live bands, and even bagpipers performed. The event was held at the American Legion Hall in Flint Park. To make donations, you can mail them to the Larchmont PBA, 1013 Fund, 120 Larchmont Avenue, Larchmont, New York, 10538, or you can bring your donations in sealed envelopes to the Larchmont Police Station in Larchmont. We wish Officer Roberts the best of luck and many blessings with his future therapy. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Plans for Commerce Bank in the Crab Shanty spot have been scaled down. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Mike Witch with the latest.
Commerce Bank has agreed to scale back its newest branch office to be constructed on property now occupied by the Crab Shanty restaurant. In a late March article in the Times newspaper, Jamie Garzon reported that 8 parking spaces will be eliminated, allowing a wider swath of trees and shrubs between the bank and neighboring homes. The revised plan calls for 30 parking spaces and 4 drive-through stations at the bank, which would be open as late as 8 p.m. However, the village's planning consultant is calling for still fewer spaces. George Jacquemart favors just 23 spaces in order to provide even more of a buffer zone. Local residents are upset about the bank. They say its design is out of character for the neighborhood, and that its security lights and late hours will intrude on their quality of life. Parents and officials of the Rye Neck School District are also worried that the bank's traffic will jeopardize the safety of students who enter and leave the school complex via Hornridge Road, directly across from the proposed bank. Bank spokesmen say they are looking into further modifications of the parking area. As for student safety and traffic congestion, Mr. Jacquemart says a recent study shows no relationship between the proposed bank and the school's traffic problems, adding that the bank will get most of its traffic between 4:30 and 5:30 p.m. when school is out. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Mike Witch.
Are you driving and talking on a handheld cell phone? Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Maura Carlin will tell you why you should stop.
Look, Ma, no hands had better be your motto when you're driving this week. Westchester County has announced a crackdown on chatty drivers using handheld phones. County police and 28 local police departments will be aggressively ticketing drivers who violate the 3-year-old ban on using a handheld phone while driving. Violators face fines of up to $100 for a first offense, $200 for a second violation, and $500 for subsequent violations. Although the ban on handheld talking initially changed drivers' phoning habits, a recent study by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety showed that many have lapsed back into their old ways, perhaps because of a lack of publicity about the ban or enforcement. This week-long effort by Westchester County aims to get drivers to hang up or hook up to headsets by refocusing on the issue. Drive carefully out there. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Maura Carlin.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Alyssha Miro. Happy Easter and Passover. And I just wanted to mention that it's Christina Bolger and her husband, Michael Hockhauser, who own the apartment on Tompkins Avenue.